Hello and welcome to this Eyes of Harmony First Sports 2 Village of the Angels, which is chapter 4 of Doctor Who Flux, aka series 13. Yes, 13. God, getting so confused with all these names everywhere. Chapters, episode titles.
Chapter, episode, series,
A lot. But yeah.
It was so good until they cut the bell and then everything sort of fell apart.
Yeah.
But the first 20 minutes of the story was excellent. It's just so disappointing.
Yeah, I didn't mind the bell stuff. Like that stuff, it just really broke the pacing of it. I think that was the issue. And also, let's just talk all the bell stuff out the way, right? So everything that they showed was fine. It just felt really out of place. Like that should have all just been in the last episode. Like I kind of just really wanted the angels this week, and I think the time that was used for the Bell side plot definitely retracted from this episode.
And then also
I hated the mid-credits thing. Too. I really hated that mid-credits glitch thing of an extra scene there. It ruined the cliffhanger of the episode. That was a pretty cool cliffhanger, but we'll get to that in a bit. And then suddenly this scene, which really didn't add or change anything, or it was kind of like, oh, he sort of knows where to find her, and even though she states that I only have so much time, she prioritizes saying I love you rather than where she's actually gonna fucking be. Which, I'm sorry, if I had to talk to a person who I really want to see again, I think the most important thing I'd say is, hey, I'm gonna be here, please find me, I love you. Boom. And but whatever. Dramatic for science fiction, sure, but it just always frustrates me when stupid stuff.
Well, she could have literally carved the coordinates into the rock or something,
right? She could have written something somewhere,
or told the other guy. I don't. Oh, actually, I guess he kind of hated her, but he just said, "Hey, if he does happen to pass, please, you may hate me, but say this or something."
Yeah. I was glad that Azure got to do kind of something rather than, because Swarm's more taking the thing. So it's nice to see kind of her shining moment. Though it was weird. I kind of more wish if they could hear her, it was more telepathically rather than her speaking. They do it all the time in these things where people are really stupidly far away and they talk at a normal volume. And then suddenly everyone can hear. I know they said some kind of line how can we hear her? I don't know, but it should be just give a reaction that it's coming straight into your head. It would be weird. It would be what the fuck, not just casual. Yeah, normal. But anyway, that's all the Bell stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing at this episode is, again, if it was.
I love the opening.
It was done.
Pre-title sequence was epic. That was great.
I feel like if this episode had been done last series even. Right, this would have been this could have been great. And again, even beyond the Bell stuff, right? Even dismissing that entirely, that is about the moment anyway to where they started to flood this with a lot of the Vision storyline and all that.
Yeah.
And up to that point, it had kind of not. And I felt like that really harmed the episode on its own. Really is, I don't mind stuff building up to an ongoing narrative, but here it was just it kind of entirely hijacked the episode to a point to where I kind of stopped caring.
We were hoping for more of a War of the Sontarans, but we got more of a continuous story one. I think, and I think that's the issue. And I think
I feel so disappointed because it just set my expectations really high. Because as you said, it was really good to start with, and then.
Yeah, I'd say, okay, I got a couple, my main qualms with it. I guessed very early that older lady was the younger girl grown up. I'd guessed that straight away.
Yeah, or it's either that, or part of me thought, oh, maybe it could probably, never mind. Yeah, no,
so
it was,
I got that one. The guy who counted the graves, he disappeared. He never showed up again. Maybe he'll show up in the next episode. Who knows? But anyway, it was, okay, so my issue with this episode, right, is the amount of Weeping Angels lore that they brought over, right? Now, the Weeping Angels are a very simple concept, right? Of, blink and they can move and they can get you, right? And they send you back in time if they touch you. That's very simple. But not only did they really bring in the image of an angel becomes an angel.
Yeah.
But also, like, the angel getting the dust in the eye. And, like, my mum, who is not an avid watcher, I was having to explain the rules to her as we were going along. Because they were so... Like, I know they've got now all this rich lore and stuff. But it was just all of it from... Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, where in those episodes they got a very big amount of time dedicated to those moments, like the whole coming through the screen scene. Like, they've done that how many times now in this episode? Like, crazy amounts. And also just pointing out, Sally Sparrow has a picture of a weeping angel in that folder which she gave to the doctor, so just saying, like, that angel's waiting somewhere. But anyway, but then there was some really weird inconsistencies, right? So they bought all this lore, but then they bought, like, okay, so in Time of Angel, no, is it Time of Angels? No, it'd be Flesh and Stone, because they're on the spaceship at that point. They put the magnets on the door, and it's like, yeah, nothing can move that. Like, these magnets have basically deadlocked the door, and then the doors start turning really slowly. Do you remember that? Like, those were super strong, yet they were struggling to break through wooden doors in this episode. Like, are they super strong or are they like average strength? Like, that you gotta have, like, you can't bring all the lore and then forget, like, that piece of lore, that they're insanely strong. They can rip metal open in an instant. They can, and that was more what was just frustrating for me, was that they bought such intricate lore, but then also really kind of messed up on, hey, let's just bolt the door and it'll be fine. I feel like there's a lot more though. Clearly episode 5 is actually going to still have a lot of Weeping Angels in it, so it's clearly not just one episode.
Yeah, they're still there, but like, this was their focus. Next episode is probably going to be more of what we got last week, which is more like entirely focus on the plot, whereas I was hoping that this and the Sontarans are going to be kind of the focused episodes, where this very much
side adventure fun.
But just to comment on the point you just made, I fully agree. But I was also, all these, like, additional rules in general, once that Moffat slowly introduced the Weeping Angels, like, in the times they had, honestly, I think just kind of distracted from their original concept and terror. Really, I never, like, okay, it worked kind of okay in Time of Angels, and but I never really liked that much the whole any image of an angel becomes an angel concept. I rather like the idea which they kind of proposed at the end of Blink, to where any sort of statue could be a weeping angel, or could, it's just like they're just there, they're everywhere, so they could be, anything, rather than forcing this any picture, anything in your mind. It just, that just really, for me, kind of messed with like I said, the whole original concept. But like, even when they initially did it in this episode, okay, fine, like, having the tension with the additional tension with, like, the drawing and such, where the doctor tears it up and such, that, okay, if it just adds, like, this extra bit of suspense and extra things of, okay, I need to watch this rather than just watching them here and there, okay, fine. But they really hammered that particular, like, element of the Angels, like, to 11, I feel like,
because it wasn't just this week, it was also last week as well with Yaz's video game. And it was like, they didn't last long, did they, Yaz and Dan? They were like, well, they come up against one angel and they fucks it, basically.
Immediately.
Like, it's crazy. Like, all you do is one leads the other, one stares at it, the other kind of turns and checks the way, and then you swap when you need a blink, and then you lead. Like, you could easily tag team to get away from a weeping angel. Not that there's much chance, really, let's be honest. But, like, it was... I felt also... like the filming of the angels could have been better. I feel like when you look at Blink, like, the tension which was in Blink just really wasn't there for me in this episode. I never felt. I guess maybe it's just when the Doctor's with the Angels. It's always slightly like when, because it was a Doctor Light episode. They felt way more at risk, I guess, and I think that
Yeah.
magic can just never be brought back.
No.
But what I really liked about the Weeping Angels originally
Hmm.
was they felt really primal. They felt like, just an animal that just does what it does because it has to survive. It's not this
Yeah.
really smart being that, is super intelligent.
I
It's
mean, there
just
was.
doing it for survival. Like they send people back in time because they have to, because that's how they eat, that's what they want. And they've seen the source of the TARDIS and be like, holy shit, if we get this, we can feast forever. Yum.
Yeah.
Right? But now it's like, now there's the division. It's like they're becoming these way more complex creatures, which I guess, there's an open history. You can do whatever you like with them. But I really liked that
Yeah.
primal, like, kind of side to them. That it was just to eat. That's what I want.
And
Hungry.
yeah, the fact that we know, even if it's just one of them, the fact that we know, like, kind of what's going on in their head, and they were speaking, like, we had more than one angel speak, actually, kind of. I mean, with other people's voices, but the fact, a part of the fear factor originally of the Weeping Angels was that you had no idea what was going on in their head, because, they weren't reacting at all. They were statues unless you looked away. So you had no clue what was going on up there. I guess they already kind of did a bit with like Flesh and Stone.
Angel Bob.
So,
Yeah.
Angel Bob was a thing, and I didn't like it there either. So, like I said, it's just all these things that water it down, and the more you try to explain it, and as you say in this one, they playing it into Division, the less scary they become. And granted, again, they did. I mean, I think it's the way it was shot and the kind of the genuine like threat they posed at the very beginning of the story. I did kind of feel a little bit like, oh good, this is actually like I said, I was like, oh my goodness, are they actually going to do something good with the Weeping Angels? But then, as you say, like they introduced all these extra elements, and then they brought in the overall plot, and then they distracted and cut away to other planets. It's just like, again, if this was done in any other season, this had the potential to be a great story, but it's not. It's just not.
Yeah, I feel like they still need to explain the tomb and stuff, and I feel like we're gonna get that next week. I feel like the next time trailer definitely like helped, I guess, with that.
Yeah.
But I did love the cliffhanger. I thought that was very, very cool. That was a great visual. And there were some really nice visuals in this, like when Claire had the angel wings in the mirror. That was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
And I did like, out of all the lore they introduced, I did like that, because Moffat wrote it in such a beautiful way that, the eyes aren't the window to the soul, they're the doors, right? So don't like stare at a weeping angels straight in the eye. Like, that I really liked. And then so the Doctor having a conversation with an angel, like a subconscious, that kind of, to me, works better than, say, like through a TV. Like, to me, it was like, how did he even get the Professor's voice on the TV? Like, to me, it's like, I had some questions.
It's just an additional psychological horror thing. One thing I did really like in general was the fact that they made the 60s, I guess, feel like the 60s in terms of like people's attitudes and the way, I guess, of course, the way the set's done, but the sets were very well done. But like, mainly the way people acted, the attitudes people had, like particularly towards whatever the kid's name was, I can't even remember now.
Peggy.
Peggy, like and stuff like that. It felt authentic, which made the horror almost better because, like, there isn't like, any like of the modern niceties or extra securities. This is the 60s, and it was a cool setting and a cool premise to kind of have the Weeping Angels basically infest this village. As I said, it's just
I still like the idea of Weeping Angels going after one Weeping Angel. It's just because it's connected to the whole bigger division thing. I think that's the thing. So I guess now this is interesting. I'm guessing we're going to go into the origins of the Weeping Angels. That is my guess. I I think, because if she's been recalled to the division, and now she's become a statue, that makes me believe that are all like there's gonna be some connection. The Doctor is a statue.
It depends on how deeply connected the Weeping Angels are to the actual because I mean I think they could. I don't know about going to the origins of the Weeping Angels because as they establish here, any species can be a part of a division. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Weeping Angel. I think the Doctor just became a Weeping Angel so that they could capture her and transport her to the division. But I don't think that necessarily ties into a bigger Weeping Angel story. I think it's just the Weeping Angels are part of the division and therefore
Yeah, I guess it's ultimately what is the division and so on, so on.
Yeah, and I'd also rather they didn't explain the origins of the Weeping Angels. To be honest, I think they've explained too much already.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Chibnall at this point. I mean, when you go into the Doctor's backstory, I mean that's the big no-no. So if you've already done that, anything's a step down.
I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't like it to happen.
Yeah, no, same. But I get that vibe that that's what's kind of maybe coming. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. Sontarans is still my favorite episode.
Not easily.
I'd say Sontaran's my favorite. Halloween Apocalypse second favorite. Put this my third, and then Once Upon a Time was my fourth.
I guess I'd agree. Yeah, although I think this is probably the biggest disappointment this series because again, it just started so well, and I feel like
I think we wanted it to be something that it wasn't. I think
exactly.
I think that's partly on us that we were
partially, but also the fact that
it did start great. So I was like, yay!
The first 20 minutes were like that, and the trailer, next time trailer didn't indicate any sort of
division stuff. Well, I guess because it was big spoilers that Weeping Angels were part of the division. Because you wouldn't think that Weeping Angels would be part of something like that. Because to me, I always see them more as only out for themselves, and it's odd. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to get more of Claire because she was from the 80s, then was in, well, she grew up, was in that future, and then gets sent back to what she got sent back to 65, didn't she? Then got to 67. So I mean, she's definitely more. She will be in next week's for sure. I'm very interested to see what goes on. I mean, next time trailer, Kate Stewart. So we got. So that's exciting. I'm really happy she's back. I'm glad they kept that a secret as well that she's coming back because
until today,
obviously. But that's fantastic. I was super happy to see her. I was like, oh, nice, they're doing Unit. I mean, I'd seen a rumor that Unit was returning, but the fact that actually Kate Stewart is great.
Ever since they had the whole Spyfall moment, of course, that's been an ongoing rumor. It's just that's going to be built up to something. Unit's going to return at some point, and, sure enough.
Which is nice. I mean, Chibnall was the one who actually wrote her first appearance in the New Who, so it makes sense that she returns. I hope Osgood's there, but I doubt.
That'd be nice, but I guess we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Know. I mean, Osgood was in. They recorded new scenes with Oliver for Time Fracture.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
So it's
to
not
be fair, yeah. That's true. Fingers crossed then, because that'd be great. I bet she'd love it. The Doctor's a female, so all the better. But yeah, I did love the cliffhanger. I thought that was really cool. I just needed more explanation as to why were angels built into that burial tomb thing. It was a cool visual, but
it was.
How did they get there? Why were they? It's just more questions,
because
right?
I feel like images of angels stuffed into the walls.
It was etched, wasn't it? Actually, is that what you said? They've been etched into the walls, so maybe a load.
I did like the the professor.
Yeah,
he was a cool character, and I'm sure we'll get a bit more. Might get a bit more.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I mean, they're gonna have to
still
show
there
up
in
again.
the past, right?
Yeah, because they're all stuck in what? And the crazy thing, like, poor Dan now has been there for 2 years. I was saying, like, oh wow, this whole time traveling malarkey is gonna be such an insane constant journey for him. But now, just 2 years stuck in
2 years
a village of 1901. But I wonder what happens now that
an
they've taken
abandoned
her.
village.
Well, I'm wondering because they've got the Doctor now, they're gonna leave. I'm guessing the quantum extraction will be put back. So
Probably.
they're currently in this extraction. But yeah.
Well, yeah, because the village is found abandoned.
Though, did the beach start with just sand and then suddenly have rocks and pebbles all the way down it? Because I swear it changed halfway through it.
I swear, I did think that, but I don't know. You'd have to double check.
Because I got very confused. I was like, is this supposed to resemble like the Angel taking over, which would be a very cool concept? But they didn't really ever mention it. For something that explains so much, they didn't explain that at all. No. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think my main thing was just it was really heavy on angel lore, but then also kind of ignored the lore that they're really strong, and they were like, wooden doors.
Yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately that's it was for the effect of the horror, and that was that whole moment of like being surrounded and with the doors being hammered on and such was like really effective, I guess, in terms of like getting across the tension.
I think the change in design didn't help, actually.
I mean, I don't think you ever saw them clearly enough for that to be a negative thing, at least from my perspective.
I just felt they looked really less defined in this. In the original you had that really strong jawline, and the hair was just it. I wonder if they used different makeup or masks, because I feel like it was something just so elegant about the originals, which they just never really did. And I don't know, I felt myself dropping off this episode, to be honest. But it's just because it's doing the same thing of just introducing more and more questions, and we're getting so few answers. It's like, now this is enough a week, 2 weeks in a row of, hey, we know about your past, but we're not going to show it. And like, we gain nothing. It's not like we gained a bit more, and then like it's literally just the same. Like, we're no nearer to working out the Doctor's past than we were, and it's like, when you do that week on week, it just becomes exhausting, because you're like, well, I just gotta wait. I just gotta wait to the final episode then. Yeah, I guess like we're just waiting for a lot of answers, I think, and I think that's my whole problem with an episode like this, and that continuous thing of, we're gonna tease this thing and not tell you this week. Watch next week, and then you're just always pushing towards the finale. And I really hope that we get the next episode is all the answers, and then we have an episode to then deal with those answers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been better if they'd at least fed us some info.
Yeah,
right? Anything. I guess in a way we kind of sort of got it last week with the whole like, the fugitive Doctor's here, and
with Carvanista and so on, but
dealing the Ravagers. But I mean, it's like, I think they should have done more rather than just go, hey, we could tell you, at least like drip feed a little bit, build it up a little bit.
Like, why did the Doctor just believe this angel of, hey, oh right, you know stuff about me, go on then, tell me something that I don't know. And it's like, because obviously if you're trying to barter your situation, why would you just straight up believe a weeping angel? They're like, hey, I've got knowledge about you. And it's like, sure.
I think the Doctor's so desperate at this point that it's clouding her judgment. I guess that's so, kind of the whole vibe is it kind of got throughout the series, is that, she's kind of closing herself off from everybody else and outright, like, doing things and, going into situations she probably shouldn't be in, just so that she can find out more about the Vision. And that's, be the case here, is that she's had the carrot dangled in front of her and she's gone like, yes, they're gonna go with you, and
yeah, interesting stuff. but also it's kind of tiring. Like, I
Mm.
want the answers. Like, I'm intrigued enough, but when you just keep adding questions on top, like, oh, so the Weeping Angels are in the division now. Who runs the division? Etc. Etc. Okay, so they wanted this angel who has all the knowledge, but then they're actually happy for the Doctor. So clearly, the Doctor must have probably destroyed the division when leaving. And it's like, well, I mean, we've got Carvanista next week, right?
Yeah.
And he's gonna have to know. I mean, he clearly knew the Roof Doctor, so
Yeah.
hopefully we're gonna get a decent chunk of answers
You'd
from
hope so.
him.
You'd
You'd
really hope
hope.
so.
I bloody hope. Oh God, please. But yes, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on this episode. Really, kind of
Mm.
was fine. Again, it sort of relies on next week's execution of this Angels
I
cliffhanger
think I
and
think
that.
regardless, I think I'll look back at this very let down because, like I said, we kind of like the Timeless Children last series. Like we were promised like a potential. Like in that case, it was like we had the potential to get a really fantastic Cyberman finale, which we never got. Here, it's like
Yes,
we had the potential to get a really fantastic Weeping Angel episode, which we
which we
haven't
never got.
got.
Yeah.
So it's like, regardless of how good next week is and how good it pays off on this, I'm just gonna feel let down about this episode because, it's just isn't what it should have been. Because like there were so many good ideas in here that it was really well shot. Like, I really liked the characters, and like as I said, for the first 20 minutes, I was hooked. I was like, heck yes, some of the best Weaving Angel stuff since Blink. I'm here for it. I'm like so happy. And then we had the close up of the angel, and then the cut to Bell, and it's just like, oh
Yeah,
no.
I knew when that happened. I was like, Conrad's gonna hate this bit. I knew in
Yeah,
my head. I was like, because I knew that you wanted nothing to do with the division. So when I was watching it, I was like, yep, Conrad's not gonna be vibing this at
or
all.
if you are gonna have some of it, don't force most of the episode to revolve around it in the way this episode did.
Yeah, I
you
feel like
know?
all that Bell stuff. Just take out some like, it just yeah. I just really wanted it focused on this, and it wasn't. Ugh. Not fun, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? I mean, though, only 5. Can you guess what 5 of?
Only 5?
Yeah, 5 of. No, only 5 episodes of this whole era left. That's it.
Oh, right.
That's
I was
it.
about to say,
5,
we're not quite
right?
in episode 5 yet. That's next week.
That's next week, yeah, but only 5 of the whole era left.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, all these things have got to be wrapped up in
Yep.
2 episodes, or then I know every film will be wrapped up by then. So then,
By the end, yeah.
crazy, right? There's
Again,
only
at least
5
it's not quite
episodes
Matt
left
Smith,
of this era.
where we had 1 episode.
Oh yeah. Well, that was I don't quite blame Moffat for that one. I think he
No.
probably thought Matt Smith was going to stay on for another series, and
Yeah.
Ben did not. But yeah, so 5 left. Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll get the Master in this series. I think he'll be in the Centenary.
Potentially, I mean, probably, but I could also kind of see him popping up in the finale. Like, at the back of my head, it's like they could do it. They could do it, depending on where the plot goes. But we'll see.
I mean, you still need to know who Old Lady is.
Hmm.
Other people were thinking Rani. Just by what she was doing, she could add a potion-y thing. And I was like, interesting. Or I'm wondering if that's the woman who experimented on the Doctor all that time.
The Traveller.
Yeah, the Traveller. That's the other person I'm thinking. One of those two. Someone who potion-y, right? And that's the only 2 I could really think of that would make kind of sense.
True, that we know of.
And who would give that vibe. Unless new character, obviously.
Like I said, potentially somebody from the Doctor's species or whatever.
So yeah, next week, Survivors of the Flux. I mean, yeah. I'm sure we'll get more side stories of Bell and Vinda, which will come together. I mean, the one worry, which we didn't pick up on last week, that I have, Is that the baby of Belle is the Doctor?
Yeah,
The baby Belle.
I've sort of had that at the back of my head.
And because it's in the Flux, it's a timeless, because it's the end of the universe, so there is no time. And that's the Doctor. And yeah, I hope not. I really hope not.
It kind of seems to sort of be lining up, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. No. We've only 5 episodes left. But yeah,
okay, the torch to place on the way out.
He actually just ends Doctor Who. Like, he literally just definitively ends it. He just kills off the Doctor. It's like, that's it. The show's done. 60 years, nah. You're getting a solid 59 out of it, and that's it. Suckers.
So instead, Russell T's just writing stories about the parallel universe Doctor. Instead.
Yes, it's just literally Rose and Tennant again. In their 40s now.
Yep.
Oh, God. Here we go. Well, 2 episodes left. Let's see what happens. I'm excited for Kate Stewart, and we get to see an Ood.
Ood.
They don't really reveal much. We saw the Doctor, obviously, in stone. I'm guessing Roof Doctor next week.
Yeah, I saw another guy, unit guy, and
unit guy. We saw Carvanista. And those guys stuck in they're in 1903 now.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. What happens?
Yeah.
For them. But yeah, poor guys, 2 years. Poor Yaz keeps getting left behind, doesn't she?
Yeah.
How long was it between Timeless Children and Revolution?
Wasn't it? That was a year.
Yeah, a year, right? So it's like, bloody hell. Yeah, I can see why Yaz is gonna leave. It's like within 5 episodes, because I'd be so fucking mad. A year, 2 years. That's such a long time. Like, if I think 2 years ago now in my life, like, fuck me, if I got stuck in the past, and for her, not the easiest time either. Like, so yeah.
Yeah, she's eventually going to make it home and be several years older. That's gonna be...
Yeah, or not get back at all, because the Weeping Angels were messing with it. So who knows?
True.
What a future is. Ooh. But yeah, there we go. That's it. That's my first thoughts. Comrade's first thoughts. Yeah. That's it. We'll be back next week for Survivors of a Flux. That's it. Chapter 5. We're almost there. We've
nearly survived the Flux.
Yes. We've nearly survived Series 13's endless mysteries and revelations. But no revelations, because we haven't got any answers yet.
I was so hopeful by episode 2. And
I'd still say, so far, it's hard to judge it until you have the end. It's so hard to judge it. At least we didn't get the Mole Man this week. Like, it's the first week that we didn't have him. But I was starting to think, wait, they're going through a tunnel in a house. I'm like,
when are we going to get to that?
I'm guessing in the finale. I'm guessing, like...
Which seems like a really...
Right?
Yeah.
So long. Like, they talked about him so much before episode 1. And, like, we still haven't got to his, like, major story. Wait, what year was he?
He's Victorian.
Yeah, so it's even before the time that they're there now.
I think so. I think? Or maybe it could. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Possibly. I mean, they could. That could be next week. I mean, I don't.
But he wasn't in the trailer, which I feel like he would have been, because they keep pushing him so much. I bet he will come in the finale, and it will suddenly make sense. But if it's lame, it's going to be like,
at all.
Oh god! I just hope it's not lame. I just really hope it's not lame answers.
The Doctor was buried at the center somewhere in a
like trying to dig to find the Doctor or something, but
yeah.
I guess we will find out at some point. But I hope, yeah, I'm guessing Flux will be all wrapped up by 6, and then the last 3 adventures will just be something else. It's interesting on how the companions are going to leave.
Dan gets a call to go to his plastering job.
I think the plasterer, who's we've literally never been referenced once. Never been referenced once. Yeah, actually, we've seen him do more food bank stuff than anything else. I think the issue is, like, I just don't feel there's been much companion development.
No, I don't feel like I know Dan really at all.
Right, I really like John Bishop and everything, but like, I feel like it's very much like a classic Who companion where they just join and they're there and they have somewhat of a personality, but we know nothing about them.
Yeah, actually, that's pretty much. No, I think you're spot on there. It does feel like it does.
It's just really like classic companion. Like, yep, here they are. These are the companions. They're along for the ride, and that's it. That's all you is. You're not learning anything about their home life, and it literally does feel like
beyond their first episode. And
beyond their first episode where they're introduced. Yeah, basically. Yeah. But that's it. Like, there we go. But I hope for more development. But I just, in the time that we've got left, it's like, is there any point? You know.
And I mean, granted, like, do we know that John Bishop's going to be there beyond this series?
He was seen filming that pirate special, which I think's the spring special. So yeah.
Yeah, so we might get a bit more. But
it's like, how impactful is it going to be? Like, I just feel like I love him as an actor. I think he's a really cool guy, but like as just a character, I'm like, you know, I felt more connection to Nardole. Like,
easily, far more connection to any companion of this series compared to Nardole. But I mean, he's had his moments, like mainly in War of the Sontarans.
War of the Sontarans was his best moment, really. So far, I did like him in Halloween Apocalypse, but the last 2 weeks has been very sidelined.
I mean, the only reason I like him more is because of the whole Evil Dan meme.
Oh yeah, Evil Dan.
I'm good at this.
I'm good at this. Yeah. What's the point in being alive?
If not to make others die.
Yeah. So good. I love that John Bishop shared that as well.
He needs soup more than me. Yeah.
It's soup. It's that bloody laugh.
Yeah.
God. Now I'm gonna walk right out of here. Yeah, Evil Dad's great. I love the best edit was the bloody parting of the ways one where Dan is the bad wolf. That's my favourite one. You're right, lads.
Go on, off with yous.
Yeah, that's it. They all fade to dust. Is brilliant. Bloody I think Evil Dan actually is like the best meme of recent
Best thing
Doctor
to come
Who.
out of this series.
Yeah. Of this era, I think this is my favourite meme.
Good. I did feel like more sometimes, but yeah, I do love it.
It's good, but yeah. Guess we'll see. We will see. There we go. 5 of this era left before R2D2. R2D2, basically. R2D2. I'm just gonna call it R2D2. It's cool. But yeah, there we go. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.